going on, YouTube? Welcome to a Mancave Minute podcast. I'm your host, Steve V. Appreciate you guys being here with me today in the Mancave Arcade. This is episode 9, and for some reason, the second I started this podcast, my nose has gotten a little nasally. I didn't know I was getting sick, but it seems like I might be. Either way, I'm going to chug along with this podcast because I got some fun things to talk to you about today. Like I had mentioned, it's episode 9, or maybe I forgot to mention that. No, I think I did say it. Episode 9. I thought I would have a lot more of these podcasts kind of banked on the channel by now, but I seem to kind of make them few and far between. But I do enjoy doing them. So really happy to kind of be down here tonight and kind of hang out with you guys and talk about, a few different things. First, probably being the most obvious. If you guys follow the channel, you'll notice that the man cave is looking a little bit different cosmetically. I used to have some white ceiling tiles here in the man cave arcade. Over the last couple of years, some of them were starting to kind of give out and dip down, and they were all interlocked. So as one would kind of give out, it would put weight on the one that it was obviously interlocked to, and then that one would start coming down. And a couple of times in the past, I would fix the issue by taking a staple gun, kind of staple them back up, call it a day. But they would start kind of giving out again, not too long after. And I pretty much told myself, at some point I'll just take them all off and maybe down the line put some drywall. But the process kind of got sped up because one day I was down here with my son, and we were about to play basketball on my arcade alley-oop basketball game here, and just one of the tiles decided to kind of give out. It was one that was right above my son, so as it fell, it kind of brushed his cheek. Now, luckily, he didn't get hurt, but that was enough to kind of let me know, like, hey, you got to take care of this problem ASAP because, you're lucky that it was just one and not the whole thing collapsing. So, me and him went back upstairs, and I pretty much told my wife, tomorrow, which that was a Sunday, so I told her, Monday, I'm going to, come down here and take them all off while my son's in school, and she was watching my younger son. So yeah, bought a M95 mask because those tiles tend to have a lot of fiberglass in them. And in the past, I have, when putting them back up, I have inhaled some of that fiberglass, and it really affects your breathing. So I came down with a mask, ripped them all off, and this is the end result. So again, down the line, probably will put some drywall up to kind of give it a more clean look. But as of right now, I'm kind of digging it. It's got that rustic industrial kind of look, with the wood and the vents and the wiring. It makes the space look a lot bigger. So I kind of am digging that at the moment. But yeah, this is just for now. Like, I'll kind of fix it when I fix it. But the one thing I will fix probably sooner than later is there was a light fixture that was right around here. And that fixture came off when I was taking off the tiles. I didn't mean to take it off. I was going to work around it. But again, all the tiles are interlocked. I tugged on one that was obviously connected to a couple tiles that were connected to that. And then the whole thing just came down. So when the light fixture fell, it obviously, came off the wire. I'm not an electrician, so I didn't want to mess around with it. So I got a hold of my uncle, who is an electrician, but he lives out of town. So he kind of told me what to do to kind of just make it, safe until, he's maybe down, here for like some family function or something. And he said he could put a new fixture on, or he would tell me what to do so I can put the fixture on. So I haven't really decided what I'm going to do yet, but either way, it will get fixed. But other than that, I'm fine with it being like this for now. And like I said, I'm kind of digging the look. So that's kind of what's going on with the Man Cave Arcade as far as, the aesthetics. Maybe there might be a game room tour at some point, and you guys will get a better look of how it's looking. But obviously, just doing this podcast, you can see it quite well that, yeah, it's pretty much bare bones. So, but again, I'm digging it at the moment. So I'm just happy that it's safe now, that I can bring my kids down here and not worry about anything falling on them. Because, it's one thing for me to be down here, and if they fell on me, whatever, it would suck, but I would shake it off and deal with it. But, my kids, I can't take that chance. And that one tile was enough to kind of give me the kick in the ass I needed to take them off immediately. So glad I got that done. And yeah, this is the end result. So that's what I've kind of been up to as far as the man cave's concerned. Other than that, kind of just been hanging out with the family, working, whenever I get a chance, kind of catch up with some friends. The holiday season's just around the corner, so again, prepped up for that. Me, my wife, and my 2 kids are going to get our picture with Santa at the mall tomorrow. We do that every year. It's kind of a yearly tradition, so looking forward to that. My son, always gets a kick out of seeing Santa and telling him what he wants for Christmas. And then my younger son, this is going to be his first time meeting Santa, so I'm looking forward to seeing how he kind of reacts to Santa. Maybe tug on his beard or something, or he might just be enamored by the bells, and who knows. I'm really kind of curious to see what he thinks of Santa when he is right up there, close to him. So we'll see how it goes, but either way, looking forward to it. Have not started any Christmas shopping yet, so I gotta get on that ASAP. It's just a couple weeks before December, and yeah, I don't really want to wait till last minute. I've done that in the past way too many times, way too stressful. So I don't want to put myself in that situation again. So I definitely have to start that process. Obviously, we have, the online situation to make it a little bit easier. So I might go that route. But sometimes there's nothing like just going to the mall and just picking it up the day of. You feel like you got it done. And sometimes it's just nice to have the physical stuff actually here in the house, so you know that you have it for that day. Or sometimes when you order it, you get a date. Sometimes things could change. It's a busy time, specifically for the delivery services. So I don't know. I might go to the mall and pick it up, but maybe I will get some stuff online. I don't really know. I'm talking, not really having much of a game plan. I got to come up with a game plan and figure out what I'm going to buy for everybody. And, I'm definitely going to try to start that within the next week or two. Other than that, I have been looking to get something for myself that I can't seem to find. I've been pretty much obsessed with trying to find these WWE LJN figures that they just released. I am a child. Well, I'm a child of the 90s, but I was born in the 80s. I was born in 88. So, at the time where I was starting to kind of have, memories of playing with stuff and things like that. All my memories kind of are around playing with whatever I was into at that time. So, Ninja Turtles or Batman, things like that. But I also had a lot of hand-me-down toys from other relatives, or when I was at like my babysitters, whatever toys were there, I would play with those. And I remember playing with some LJN figures in like the early 90s. I think it was a cousin of mine had the British Bulldogs, Junkyard Dog, and I think Big John Stud. Now, at the time, I didn't know who these people were. Now I know them very well, but either way, I would play with them, and they would be like the protagonist to like my Ninja Turtles or something like that. Or I would just fight with them, and just kind of assume like, okay, this is the good guy, this is the bad guy. I also somehow got a hold of, there was a smaller LJN Hulk Hogan. I believe he also came with Roddy Piper, but I didn't have the Roddy Piper. I just had the Hulk Hogan. It was like a seated Hogan that, again, was a little bit smaller, but I'm pretty sure it was by LJN. I had that for years until my brother, he went through this phase, when he was a kid, where he would like, bite the head off of some of the toys, the plastic. And he completely destroyed that Hulk Hogan. And I was quite pissed off about that. But it is what it is, because now, I have the opportunity to get, an actual LJN Hulk Hogan that's not some crazy price. But I just need to figure out where they're going to be selling these in Canada, because I can't seem to get an answer from anybody. I've commented on WWE's posts about these LJN figures. I've commented in other posts. I put a community post on my YouTube page, asking if anybody knew. And I can't seem to get an answer. So I'm a little disappointed, because I do want the Hulk Hogan LJN figure. I want Dusty Rhodes, because I'm definitely more into collecting more of the retro wrestlers when it comes to this line. But I am interested in the John Cena one as well, because I think some of the big time main eventers of like the current roster, I will be willing to collect those as well. The only one that I don't really want is Logan Paul. Nothing against the guy. I actually respect what he's doing in the ring and him on the mic. It's just not a figure that I really want. So that one I could kind of give two shits about. It's the three that are like, at this moment, the bane of my existence, because I want them, but I'm just not willing to go the only route that I can at this moment, and that's eBay, because they are charging ridiculous prices for these figures. So I just want to figure out when they're coming to Canada, where I can purchase them, and that will kind of be the Christmas gift for myself whenever I find them. So if anybody knows, put it in the comments. If not, I'll just continue the hunt. And hopefully this hunt will end fairly soon with those three LJN figures in my Man Cave arcade. And I look forward to seeing what the next line is going to be. I believe they've already shown some images of Stone Cold, Jesse the Body Ventura, King Kong Bundy. Definitely interested in those three. I think there was one other one that they shown as well, but I can't think of off the top of my head. And I know they've mentioned that they're going to do CM Punk and Jey Uso. I might pick up CM Punk. I'm a huge CM Punk fan, so if it's available, I'll pick it up. And then I'll kind of just go from there. So, just looking for info on where I can pick these up here in Canada. And hopefully they will show up sometime soon. Other than that, the only other thing I'm kind of interested in purchasing for myself is that Marvel Cosmic Invasion game. I'm going to get it for the Switch. I thought the physical was coming out the same time as the digital version of the game. But I just found out that the physical is coming out in March. So I was very disappointed in that news, because I'm very much somebody that just wants the physical carts. So that way I actually own the game. It's not going to disappear when, years later they shut off the servers. When I have that game, I have that game. But I don't know if I can wait till March to play the game. So I might have to buy it digitally. This will be my first time buying a digital game. And then down the road, get the physical. So, that's why I'm a little bummed out. It's because I just want to buy it once. But now they're kind of forcing me to buy it twice, because I don't know if I can wait the 3 months to play it. I want to play it right away, because it looks like a great game, and something that I really think I'll enjoy playing with my son. So that's something that I will be picking up for myself as well. That's out December 1st. And then I'll obviously get the physical copy, because I'm just a stickler for physical. And it's just the way it is. I will cave to that. So that's another thing I'll probably buy for myself. But other than that, it's all about just, spending money on the family for Christmas. And then we'll see what kind of comes around the corner next year. I have been kind of paying attention to Basic Fun, which is currently kind of the front runner in the home arcade market, as far as, making cabinets for the hardcores, but also the casual fans. They kind of took, Arcade 1-Up's spot, because Arcade 1-Up is just kind of doing more of the same, where Basic Fun is at least, bringing out some newer titles and doing some of the same titles as well, but, doing it a little bit different. Now, for the most part, I've been pretty unimpressed with Basic Fun and quite disappointed in some of these small mistakes they've been making, because they were mistakes that Arcade One Up made years ago. So if they were paying attention, they would have known about these mistakes and how to improve them to make their product the best product it could possibly be. But it seems like they ignored those things that Arcade One Up learned, and now they're having to relearn things that were already established within the community and within, these home arcade products. So their latest one is the Return of the Jedi cabinet. Michael B. the Game Genie got a review unit. I watched his review. Obviously, as far as the yoke, it seems to be working well for the most part. The marquee looked great. The artwork on the side looks good, though it's not the proper shape of that cabinet. The shape that they decided to go with was more like a Tron shape. That's kind of unappealing to me. Not that I was actually planning to buy this cabinet, but I mean, you went from Arcade One Up coming out with their Star Wars cabinet, which was very aesthetically pleasing. It was the best looking cabinet they had made to that point, and it worked amazing. The yoke was phenomenal. They definitely did a great job, making the games play well. I believe Code Mystics was the one that, did all that for Arcade One Up, and they did phenomenal. The screen was like beautiful. The vector games where it has to be really dark, it was very dark. The lighting was perfect. It was a good height. They made that riser a little bit longer. So this cabinet from Basic Fun had a lot to live up to, and they kind of failed in the aesthetics department because it looks very clunky, and like I said, it kind of looks like a Tron cabinet, though the artwork on the side is nice. And again, the marquee looks really good. But they got a TN monitor in there that is only lit from one side, so it looks terrible from a distance. And even up close, the vector graphics, it's not dark enough. So the main game, which is Return of the Jedi, that looks okay because it's colored, but the vector games don't look the greatest. Then, they didn't put a faux coin door. They added the info that would have been on the bezel onto the kick plate. That looks terrible in my opinion. They didn't put the protector for the control panel, though I know it's kind of angled, so you're not really going to be putting like your hands onto it, but yeah, down the line, the paint's probably going to start coming off, whether they want to admit that or not. They just made some small flaws that, again, they would have known not to take those shortcuts if they followed, the model that Arcade One Up did in the past, which they should have, because that's their basis of learning. And it just shows that they didn't go to that well to learn. They're just making the same mistakes and cutting the same costs on the wrong things. That's just my opinion on the matter. But that cabinet, it might be for some people. Some people might think that's, a Star Wars cabinet worth purchasing. But for me, having, the Arcade One Up version as the comparison, this one just looked like a cheap knockoff that financially is not a cheap knockoff. It's very expensive for what you're getting. So, Basic Fun, I feel like their Wave 1 cabinets were not the greatest. I want to see what their improvements are for Wave 2 and see what type of licenses they get. From there, I'll give them another chance, and maybe they might win me over and I might end up with a Basic Fun cabinet down here at some point. But as of right now, it's not looking likely. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of a little bit out of the home arcade space just because there hasn't really been a lot to kind of capture me as far as interest other than Basic Fun. And with them kind of dropping the ball, it's kind of allowed me to start kind of looking at other interests that I have and kind of putting more energy in that than, the home arcade space. So we'll see what happens. That could change, but as of right now, that's kind of where I'm at. But I will be watching Basic Fun, and I will see what they do in their next wave. So the other day when I was on YouTube, I happened to see the new Super Mario Galaxy trailer. I was a big fan of the first Super Mario movie and was really looking forward to this one. My son's a big Super Mario fan as well, my older son, so really looking forward to bringing him to this one. The trailer, though, didn't really quite sell me, which I don't know. Like I mean I'm gonna go see it, and obviously being a Mario fan, there's gonna be some stuff in there that are definitely gonna kind of hit home for me as far as just maybe like on a nostalgic basis and stuff like that. I think the fact that they kind of are focusing on aspects of Mario Galaxy, the game, Mario Galaxy 1 and Mario Galaxy 2. That was a time where I was kind of out of gaming and didn't play those games. So I think part of the reason maybe I wasn't too excited when I saw the trailer is there was probably some elements from the Mario Galaxy games that they kind of shown, and it wasn't quite clicking for me because I just didn't know anything from those games. And obviously, through YouTube and stuff like that, I'll kind of catch up on some of that stuff. But like I seen them, I don't know if they bounced off some type of star thing. I think that's part of the Mario Galaxy game, and that planet of water that they go through. Again, I believe that's part of the game. So there are things where I kind of was able to kind of put the puzzle together without knowing info from those games. But yeah, it's just I don't know, it was kind of weird, like the whole Bowser painting thing, and I don't know, it was just that particular trailer didn't fully sell me, but I am still interested in seeing the movie, and I'm sure when they come out with another trailer, that one might kind of bring it home for me a little bit more. There was some things that I did see that did interest me, like seeing Bowser Jr. I look forward to kind of seeing his story arc, and obviously he's there to get his father. I saw that symbiote thing that kind of went on him, which I know is something from Mario Wonder. I want to find out who Bowser Jr.'s mom is. I mean, we don't even know where this Bowser Jr. truly came from. We just know obviously he's Bowser's son, but there's no explanation of who the mom is. So hopefully they'll explain that in the movie. Then there's also Rosalina. I'm not too familiar with that character, but she's in this movie. So look forward to kind of learning about her and seeing kind of how she connects to the Mushroom Kingdom and all the other stuff that is going on in the Super Mario world. I know Yoshi's going to make an appearance because they kind of showed a little teaser at the end of the original movie, and there's already been some images for cookies or something. There was like a promotional image where Yoshi was on it. That got released, so if that is to be true, Yoshi is definitely in the movie, which I think he would have to be because, again, they kind of teased him at the end. So, yeah, I'm going to see that movie. I believe it comes out in April. But hopefully there'll be another trailer that might kind of get me a little bit more excited to go see it. But my son was excited, so that's the main thing. Then there was some leaked footage from the Legend of Zelda movie that they're working on, the live action film, where they're kind of in a forest, and you see Link, Princess Zelda. You see that woman that's kind of Princess Zelda's guide. I forget her name. And the horse and everything. And then Nintendo actually put out an image to pretty much say, hey, yeah, we're working on this, and you can expect it sometime. I think they're saying that it's going to be out in 2027. So excited to see that movie. That's also a franchise that I have some history with because I was a big fan of Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo. But then from there, I didn't really invest enough time playing some of the other Zelda games, though I did kind of, try most of them out. I have Breath of the Wild upstairs, literally clocked in maybe 2 hours into that game. It's just a lot of those games are very time consuming and time I don't have. So I'm also going to have to do a lot of research before seeing that movie to kind of catch up on some stuff that I might not know, because everything I know of Zelda is from Link to the Past, which to me is the best Zelda game of all time, but that's because I've only played that game. I know everyone says it's Ocarina of Time or Breath of the Wild. Very well could be those games, but to me, it's always going to be Link to the Past. But yeah, I will do my research. Look forward to seeing that movie as well. So I guess the last thing I'll kind of touch on with you guys is kind of like some wrestling and MMA stuff. WWE right now is really putting a lot of focus on John Cena's retirement tour. And I happened to be in Toronto when he came out, surprised us and announced that he was going on the retirement tour. Then from there, most of what he's done I've really enjoyed. There was that heel turn, and then there wasn't quite a follow-up with that as far as like storylines concerned. The Rock not showing up at WrestleMania when he should have. There was that terrible match him and Cody had at Mania, but then they kind of course correct. They made John Cena a babyface again, which is a good guy, and he had a great match with Cody at SummerSlam, and it's been, just a lot of great matches since then. And there was a few good matches prior to that too. It's just, I don't know, that heel run kind of dirtied things up a little bit, but they've definitely course corrected, like I said, and it's been great. They're doing a tournament right now to see who's going to be John Cena's final opponent. I believe it's going to be Gunther. It just makes sense. I feel like that's someone that can retire John Cena, and it makes sense because Gunther, number one, he's already pretty much a future Hall of Famer. I mean, the guy's the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. He's a World Heavyweight Champion. He retired Goldberg. He has a style of wrestling where it seems very legit. You almost get lost in what's going on and actually feel like he is, kicking these people's asses. Even though, again, we know it's all choreographed to a certain extent or kind of called in the ring. But I mean, like, he looks like he's literally beating the crap out of these people, and everything he does matters. He could be giving you a headlock, and it's like you feel like that headlock is the most important headlock at that moment because it makes sense to give him a headlock at that time. Like, I just love his wrestling style, and it just makes sense for him to be the final opponent for John Cena. And obviously, I can see Cena losing that match and kind of riding off to the sunset. I was never a huge John Cena fan because during that time where he was like the top of the top, wrestling was not the greatest at that time. It was hard to continue watching as a fan during that PG era and just some of the stuff they were doing. But I kind of made it through. Always kind of respected him, but was never a big fan of his character to a certain extent. Though it's not really like fully a character that he's playing. He's just kind of like a guy that just has morals and kind of goes in there and does his thing. That was kind of the character, I guess. But since he kind of left and came back for this retirement tour, I really have started kind of respecting what he's done in the past and obviously respecting what he's doing now. And I've kind of grown more of an appreciation for what he is to the wrestling industry. So really looking forward to just seeing how they kind of end this and seeing if Gunther is that final opponent, which I believe he is. But if he's not, it'll be interesting to see who ends up taking that spot. But either way, I do believe he's going to lose, kind of ride off to the sunset. I feel like that's kind of the best outcome to kind of just kind of say goodbye and also kind of give that nod on the way out to whoever beats him. Survivor Series is just around the corner, so they'll be kind of getting things ready for that. There's going to be a lot of great matches on that card. Then on the MMA front, we just came off a great UFC event where pretty much every match other than the co-main event and the main event were very, very entertaining. But the co-main event, Valentina Shevchenko ended up defending her belt, and I'm a big fan of Valentina, so was pretty happy with that. And then in the main event, we got pretty much Khabib's, protege, I guess you could say, doing what he does best, and he, he won by using his wrestling, which, obviously, coming from where he comes from, that's kind of what they are known to implement, and he did his thing and became a 2-time champion. So, it was a great card. On the boxing front, we got Jake Paul. He's going to be going against Anthony Joshua. That's going to be interesting. I don't know how actually I know how that's going to end. Jake Paul's finally going to get, a really bad loss. He's lost before to Tyson Fury's brother. I forget his name. Is it Robert? No. Anyways, Tyson Fury's brother beat him, but it wasn't very decisive. So this is probably going to be the most toughest challenge Jake Paul's had to go through. Just as far as size, Anthony Joshua's towers over him. I honestly feel like he's going to knock Jake Paul out, and that's kind of what everybody wants. And that's going to be on Netflix, and it's probably going to get a ton of views. I believe the co-main event is going to be Anderson Silva going against Tyrone Woodley. That should be interesting. Both these guys have got into the boxing game. Former MMA fighters. I think Anderson Silva is probably going to take that one. But either way, I will be watching that night. Looking forward to that. Other than that, just been kind of, watching anything that kind of gets my attention. Stranger Things is coming back. I'm a big Stranger Things fan. I believe they're doing it in 3 parts. The initial part is coming out this week, and then I think another part comes out Christmas, and then the final part is coming out New Year's. I think I might just wait it out to kind of watch it all when it's available. But I'm going to have to kind of catch up on what happened in the prior seasons, because there's been so many gaps along the line before they come out with their next season that sometimes I forget what happened. So I'm going to have to refresh my mind, and then from there I'll watch the final season. And then, we'll just see kind of what else kind of happens. But I'll kind of leave it at that. Again, always fun catching up. I look forward to coming out with some more content soon. But if I don't, because obviously the holiday season is quite busy, I hope you guys have a great holiday season. A great Thanksgiving, great Christmas if you celebrate Christmas, great New Year's. We got a very busy month coming up, but sometimes, that's a month where I know a lot of people kind of have that time to just slow down, catch up with family and friends. And I know for me, that's one of the things that I do and really look forward to, just having that time with everyone. And if you guys are doing the same, hopefully you enjoy that time with family and friends. If not, hopefully you still enjoy the last month of the year, and hopefully you guys have a great start to the new year. Again, I might come out with some content before the end of the year, but in case I don't, have a great Christmas, great New Year, and I will see you guys soon. Take care, and thanks again for watching.